Hi guys and welcome to MotorBeam. When we talk about single cylinder motorcycles, nothing, absolutely nothing comes close to the Duke 390 because it is by far the best motorcycle in the segment when it comes to performance, hardware and even putting a massive smile under the helmet. However, now Honda has launched the CB300R and just look at it. Doesn't it look menacing enough to challenge the Duke 390? Well, in today's video, we're going to compare both these motorcycles to tell you if orange is still the king or not. Now there's no denying the fact that the Duke 390 has started to show its age. Of course, it's a very attractive looking motorcycle still, but certain things now kind of look dated because this motorcycle from Honda looks absolutely sensational. In fact, when you look at both the motorcycles parked next to each other, you realize that the Honda has just taken the game forward in terms of styling. The CB300R looks very retro and doesn't look in your face like the Duke, which is just too orange. The CB300R is more compact than the Duke 390 and definitely feels smaller as well. The Duke 390 certainly appears to be more edgy, meanwhile the CB300R does have more muscle which it flexes successfully because just look at the panels, they just shout out beefiness. However, as much as the CB300R takes an advantage in terms of aesthetics, unfortunately, it can't keep up when it comes to instrument clusters. The console on the Duke 390 was the best when it was launched, is still the best because no one can simply keep up. Forget the aesthetics of the cluster because the one on the Duke 390 is obviously colored. This one is a dot matrix system. But even in terms of what is showcased, the Honda just can't keep up. The CB300R misses out on three crucial elements like a gear position indicator, a range indicator as well as a side stand indicator. All of this is present in the Duke 390 plus some more because that motorcycle also tells you average riding time and it also gets a state-of-the-art Bluetooth system. The 390's cluster also has an ambient light sensor and changes the color of the backlight depending on the light situation. Even the switchgear on the Duke 390 has a lot more buttons, most of them are for that expansive TFT console. However, the quality of switchgear is just better on the Honda. In fact, it even gets an engine kill switch. Well, that's something all KTMs have always had in the Indian market. Now there's a reason why I'm standing next to the Duke 390 because 6 years of absolute dominance in terms of performance because nobody can come close to the performance of the Duke 390. This employs a 373.2cc engine which produces more power and more torque than that 286cc motor. Obviously, in terms of outright acceleration, there is no beating the Duke 390. Well, there never was any competition here. Both these motorcycles redline around the same 10,500 RPM redline. But there's a big difference in the characteristics of these engines because the Duke 390 is still a lot frantic. The Honda, of course, is more calm, it's more refined, has a better low-end punch, and both of these motorcycles love to lift their front wheel. But the Honda is just so much smoother, so much more refined, and so much more rideable as well. The CB300R obviously employs a lower compression ratio and thus doesn't have any heating issues. Well, that is one big issue with the KTMs, especially the Duke 390. It always has been since the motorcycle was launched. Now, of course, the more powerful Duke 390 has lesser fuel economy on offer, but it comes with a bigger tank, at least 30% bigger than the one on the CB300R. Both these motorcycles get a 6-speed gearbox and it is definitely smoother and slicker shifting on the CB300R. Both these motorcycles also have a similar weight for their clutch. However, the one on the Duke 390 also gets a slipper function, which means that it's just easier to downshift aggressively on the Duke 390. motorcycles get a lot of premium hardware bits. The Duke 390 is underpinned by a split trellis frame. The CB300R gets a diamond frame, but it's a lightweight diamond frame. The CB300R weighs 16 kgs lesser than the Duke 390, and thus it's the more agile and nimble motorcycle to ride. Even the suspension is on par for both the motorcycles because the Duke 390 gets open cartridge WP suspension. Meanwhile, the CB300R hasn't been left behind because it gets upside down forks from Showa with 7-step preload adjustment. The rear suspension is also a monoshock on both these motorcycles, which is again a premium component from both these companies. In spite of having the better handling here, because there's a lot of front end weight as well, giving you good amount of feel at higher speeds, which is kind of lacking in the Duke 390, but the Honda CB300R also has the better ride here. There's no denying the fact that both these motorcycles are very stiff, and the Honda also has a stiffer seat when compared to the Duke 390. On both these motorcycles, you sit upright with foot pegs slightly rear set on the Duke 390 and center set on the CB300R. But the Honda has a lower seat height, which makes it more accessible to Indian riders. Pillion seat too is better on the CB300R, however there is not much space to move around and the grab rails are just better on the Duke 390. But I still like the way it has been integrated by Honda on this motorcycle. Brake bite is better on the Duke 390, however in spite of having smaller discs, the CB300R just has better stopping power, and that's largely because of the Nissin brake calipers here, along with the fact that it gets pedal discs for better heat dissipation. ABS performs better on the CB300R, however in the Duke 390 you can switch to Supermoto ABS, which turns off rear ABS. Both these motorcycles come with same size tires. The Honda uses Michelin, the KTM uses Metzger's, which simply are better in terms of grip both in the wet as well as the dry. The mirrors on the CB300R give a better view of what's behind, however the headlights on the Duke 390 are just stronger. The Honda CB300R is a great looking motorcycle. It has exceptional build quality, and being a Honda, you just can't go wrong with it. The icing on the cake here is it's a very usable motorcycle as well. However, for rupees 20,000 more, you get a whole lot more motorcycle with the KTM Duke 390, because not only can it run circles around the CB300R in terms of performance, it's just so much more enjoyable as well. That and the fact that it has got more features makes it our winner in this shootout. However, if Honda had decided to locally manufacture the CB300R in India, it would compete with the KTM Duke 250 and not the Duke 390, thereby being a very attractive proposition from the Japanese motorcycle maker. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it the thumbs up and also subscribe to the MotorBeam channel, and do let us know in the comment section which of these two motorcycles you would choose, or you would go out of your way and pick some other motorcycle at this price point, something with probably a twin cylinder engine.